All right. Good morning. Happy Monday. How we doing? Welcome back, everyone. 5 days off. Hopefully, we're not feeling too rusty. We're back at it here. NQ, we're looking at a gap lower this morning. Kind of in a tricky spot because on Wednesday, what we had was price up into this key pivot area. That's one of the most recent lower highs on the higher time frame chart. We see that area broken on Wednesday, and then Friday's partial session shows a bit of follow through up above that 25,360 area during the overnight sesh. So last night we open up with some weakness, and now the index is beneath that pivot. So really what I want to see here is how price is going to continue to respond to this area. You can see there's your weekly and monthly open, first trading day of the month. You get a little bit of a bounce there in pre-market, but it just rolls over right back near that overnight low. Currently trading about 25,250. So it makes the longs a little bit tricky beneath the 300, 360 pivot there. A couple of ideas I'll be looking at. Number one, overnight low spring setup. And then if we see a failure at the overnight low, all I can really work with is going to be the 150, 25, 150, and then 25K reversal idea, or reversal or second entry. So you see that level kind of overshot a little bit and then go for the second entry, something like a higher low could work nicely with some of those levels of interest. That is if we continue to see weakness off of the open this morning. Basically, if that overnight weakness, that overnight selling shows continuation. If we end up seeing a rally off the open and then a reclaim up above 25,330, up above 25,360 area, for me, that would make things quite a bit easier as far as the longs are concerned, because I prefer price to be above this pivot. Prefer price to be above this kind of red zone that's highlighted here on the chart, little area of resistance. And then we'll be going for that 25,500 level. So that's kind of the loose game plan for this morning. We'll see what actually pans out here, what the market gives us to work with. It's Monday after a holiday weekend. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. But the point is, you may be a little bit rusty. So typically, after multiple days off, I suggest taking it slow, really letting that A plus setup come to you, making sure you're not forcing anything, double check all your sizing, double check all your risk points, right? We do have a 9:45 a.m. print this morning and then a 10 a.m. print as well. So we do have some economic data this morning to keep an eye on as well, potentially market moving data prints. Gabe says, get those Project X locked out risk settings going. Yeah, that's key. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Hopefully, those of you that are on Project X don't have any issues this week. I know there's been a big problem recently. Let's take a look at this intraday. So we have For the extended hours, we have session volume point of control right here at 257. We have the overnight low at 193. We have prior day low for Friday's half day session up at 330. It's also where you're going to find some overnight resistance right through here, right? Prior day volume point of control. That's going to be for Friday's half day session. So don't care too much about that personally. Then overnight high is way up here, 550. That'd be quite a move, huh? Take out that overnight high. All right, here's the open. So opening print about 254. A little push off the open initially. Good volume right off the open. You can see the gap lower there on the 5-minute RTH. Session lows for NASDAQ. Just a little bit of chop here right off the open. Volume staying pretty strong though. That's good. NASDAQ right back into highs. You have ES into highs. So again, NQ just kind of bumping into that. It looks like a 60-point resistance zone. No FOMO in no man's land. Yes, sir, Rich. Okay, so there's NQ testing 25,300. Got VWAP right through there. Volume staying solid, above average. 5 minutes into the sesh. Opening 5 minute bar closes bullish. I need some action above this zone. At the very least, up above 330. 25, 330 would be amazing. Till then, just chilling. We have a data print in 9 minutes. It's pretty good strength here. See if an entry is actually going to be provided or not. NASDAQ rejected there, just shy of the 330. See the resistance from the overnight sesh right there. It's also the prior day low from Friday. So, like I said before the open, current location's a little tricky for positioning on those longs. So just staying patient right now. Let the trade come to us. And we have that first data print of the morning here in 5 minutes. NASDAQ getting back in a session lows. So you have that overnight structure right in that 330 area. You got the extended hours value area high right there at 321. We're back into session volume point of control. Where's your new low of day? And my downside reference point is overnight low at 193. Probably something clear form after 10 a.m. news. Yeah, agreed. No rush right now. It's one of the hardest aspects of trading, letting that setup actually come to you, not forcing anything. Doing less, staying patient. Fresh lows. So I'm watching the reaction down there at overnight low. It's our nearest downside reference point. 25,193. Beneath that, we have the level of interest at 150, 25,150. Here comes that first data print of the morning in about 1 minute. Volume remains really solid, though. That's great to see. Of course, that's going to be factoring in Friday's half day into the average there. So There's that 945 print. And NASDAQ just right back into this intraday structure. So no real sustained action outside of that opening 5-minute bar so far. And as far as the higher time frame, NQ still struggling with this 300 by 360 area. Remember the significance of that zone. That was a potential change of character spot. Buyers really want to see continued action above the 300, 360 area. Otherwise, this is going to be like a failure. Almost like a trap. Look above the obvious change of character spot and then fail to hold. What comes next? Usually a big puke. So we'll see what this structure is looking like post 10 a.m. Again, my preference is action above this red zone. Make everything easier for me personally. And NASDAQ right back into session highs. ES as well. Doesn't look like ES made a new low of day. Yeah, ES did not make a new low of day. Still cash this morning. Okay, NASDAQ new high of day. So above 330, I'm definitely more interested. See if we can find an entry of this area. Looks like NQ for the most part just swept this low right through here. What I'd mentioned was I wanted to see overnight low. So I did not quite get there for that spring idea. RTY pretty strong this morning. And about 9 minutes till 10. So far, still a cash morning. I've not even seen a setup, so not even a lower quality setup. So we're just chilling. We're waiting. There's your test of 330 again. 25, 330. NQ, a little consolidation here beneath 330. Can see all the resistance there from the overnight session. That's also Friday's low. Five minutes till 10. We do have that data print at 10 a.m. So again, I like this action above the 330 area. We'll see if we can actually find an entry or not. NQ starting to break that overnight structure. Good reclaim of the key higher time frame pivot, highlighted in red there. Keeping an eye on the clock. Don't really want to hold a position through 10 a.m., so I may just wait. 2 hour showing a big bullish engulfing. That closes up in 3 minutes here. Good volume all morning. All morning. Good volume. That's good to see. How we doing into 10 a.m.? Anyone trading yet? One minute till 10 a.m. Final warning on the data print. Could be a nothing burger, but personally don't like to hold through data unless I'm already deep into profit. All right, let's see this print. Let's see it. Spread opens up like crazy. There's fresh highs. So you had a retest at 25,330. It's right at the shallow fib for the morning. And a new high of day. Still cash. So long as 330 can hold, I'll watch for an entry. More consolidation here near 360. All right, ES is pulling in a little bit, NQ pulling in a little bit. There's 330. Volume staying pretty solid. I don't fully trust it because it does have the half-day session factored in, but because my R-vol there is using a 5-day look back. We have the RTH session volume point of control right here, 358 area. So buyers, like I said, they got to defend that 330. So far, that test has been defended. We'll see if fresh highs can be made. I did like the long there. Trim some off. See what we can do. ES retested 68.30 and held. It's a level of interest. So 77 can trade. I'll peel some more and then trail the runners. All right, all right. It's about 30 points locked in, and we're trailing the runners now. We need a new high of day. And really, we're going to go for upside reference point. Right up there, 25,500. Be the upside target if new highs can be made. Got the weekly and monthly open right through there. I may get trailed right here. But weekly and monthly open up there. And then Friday's close. There's the trail. All right, start the morning with a scalp. 30 points. Volume starting to taper down now, unfortunately. But like I said, I like the action above the 330. We get the retest at 330 there. Grab the entry. Right now, still trading half size from last week. Those bigger structures we were seeing, but I may need to up the size a little bit. We'll see how this week continues to develop as far as volatility is concerned and the width of the structures that we have to work with. Yeah, PCE Friday should be good. PCE and on Friday and MCS, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little consolidation here. Consolidation nation. 5 minutes shows barcode for 20 minutes. There you go. NQ new high of day. There's a failure to sustain the highs. Forty-five minutes into the sesh. Pretty slow morning for me so far. Nasdaq getting back into that 330 area. ES actually looks better. There's your structure points, how it breaks. Now retest and holds. So really buyers will be looking for a continuation into last week's high, Friday's high. Basically the overnight high on ES. NQ, similar picture, but a little slightly different. Not nearly as clean of a hold as that change of character spot. ES respects level slightly better than NQ. Yeah, I could see that. Nasdaq still here. Another test and hold of that 330 area. No second position for me there. So that most recent bounce from the 330 area did not result in a fresh high. See if NQ rolls over. It's 330 again. Yeah, Gabe, pretty choppy here. Pretty choppy. Still have good volume though. Gonna watch an NQ versus 330 area. A failure here, and I would expect much lower prices. Just based on the fact that this is such an important higher time frame pivot. Yeah, starting to roll over a bit more now. NQ. There's VWAP. It's probably like, let's see, 50% fib. Not quite. Almost. 38% fib. So before I would try a long in this area again, I'd want to see a fresh high being made. Fresh high, then some sort of retest into the 330 by 360 area. Until then, I'm hands off. If we see price trade into the lows, I'll definitely be interested in watching the reaction down into this zone. But so far, there's been a morning of patience. One trade on the morning per plan. Did not show the follow through I wanted. Looking for 25,500. Trailed out. And it looks like the trail was appropriate on this trade. $30 about to close. Yeah, we'll see if we get a little burst of action here. NQ just sitting on VWAP here. Might be time to call it, honestly. Got that next 30-minute candle opened up. There we go. Cracking lower. As expected. Once that 330 area failed, it's just a matter of time. Five-minute was telling. Yeah, that consolidation with the regular trading hours volume point of control right there. That can kind of suggest some distribution and less price. Basically, around the area where I entered, if price really fails to sustain a move there, and the highs, the fresh high just gets sold into. The long is done. That's why I didn't try it again at 330. Just gave that one try. It needs to go right away. Looks like the bot is short. Already caught one short this morning. That's really nice. All right, we'll give it 5 to 10 more minutes before calling it. I like this little bounce right here. NQ gets back into extended hours volume point of control. Buyer step in right there is probably like your 61% fib as well. Not an area I can personally set risk against, but bot caught a losing trade. It's still in. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Big green November anyway for the bot. So one losing trade. If you know how edge works, if you know how mathematical positive expectancy works, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I know it gets people worked up, but you gotta fight that. You're never gonna make it in markets. Oh no, one loser. My life is ending. It's all over. Ah. That's how people sound sometimes. It's like, hey, you gotta relax. Might have too much size on. Doesn't affect the bot. That's why I can execute edge properly. Yeah, exactly. Some of the emails I get are funny. Like the bot placed a bad trade. The bot does not place bad trades. I hate to break it to you. It may have a losing trade, but only humans place bad trades. A bad trade would be considered outside of system, outside of strategy. A bot is not going to do that. A bot just follows lines of codes. It just does exactly what the program tells it to do. So in that case, maybe the program is bad, but then it wouldn't have proven edge when you backtest it. No emotions, exactly. Exactly. All right, I'm actually getting interested in here again in a potential long entry. Let's see how this bounce continues to develop. Notice the response from the 61% fib. Fib buy zone. Like I was saying, I can't set risk against that area. But regardless, I always like to see those spots being respected. Just helps build conviction. Tape is accelerating a little bit. Do we have some Fed speak going on or something? Not that I can see. Checking the news feeds right now. Yeah, I don't see anything. Pal tonight at 8 p.m. Oh boy. Someone's going to get blown out trading the Asia session. Usually not worth it. Trading the overnight session, usually not worth it. Would not recommend. NASDAQ rejecting session volume point of control right there. It's like ES almost attesting to session low. May as well have been session low right there. 68, 13-ish. Now bouncing. clean this chart up a little bit. There we go. Nasdaq, that might be a lower high in the making. ES bumping into the 6830 level of interest. It's an ideal scenario for me. Like I had mentioned earlier, I'd want to see a fresh high being made and then come back into this area. Give me a long setup through there. But it looks like we might be having a lower high. In which case, I'd watch down here. Kind of in the middle, like don't want to diddle in the middle. I want to mess around in the middle there. Still have really good volume this morning. How's everyone's morning so far? How's it looking? One good trade. Nicely done. That's a great book, by the way. One good trade. No trades. Okay. Cash day. It's likely a one and done on my end. Benny, 30 points. Nice. Same. Except on a long, not a short. Dean, cash. All right. So I'm going to call it right here. Two scenarios I'm going to be looking for. As I just mentioned, I want to see NQ make a fresh high on the session and then Basically, kind of resembles something like this. Give me a retest into the 330 by 360 area. I'll look for longs through there. Or I'll be interested in this area. New low of day, maybe an overnight low. Spring setup. Other than that, we're going to take the one and done. Pretty slow Monday. But hey, starting the week, starting the month, green after 5 days off. Bought the bot with the sale. Welcome aboard. Had a very nice November with APT. It is still 50% off until tonight at midnight. If you guys want to jump on that, go for it. If not, that is all good as well. Check out the main website. All the sale details are there. This is the only sale we run on the year, Black Friday. So if you miss it, don't email me about it. One and done. Hope you guys had a good morning. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank, but pretty low expectations for the remainder of today, just based on the action that we've currently seen. I'll keep the broker open until about noon, just in case we see one of those setups and then shut it down firmly. That's a wrap on the day. It feels good to be back. And we'll be live tomorrow as well. Have a great rest of your day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.